In the 1970s, California's suburbs were booming. Families moved into these new neighborhoods, expecting a quiet life, where front doors were often left unlocked because the community felt safe. But that peace was shattered by a series of nighttime burglaries that quickly escalated. The intruder began taking sentimental items, photographs, and jewelry, before transitioning into a phantom who committed psychological torture and murder. This attacker was disciplined. He studied the routines of entire neighborhoods, wore gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints, and utilized his knowledge of police methods to stay ahead of patrol officers. After terrorizing the state for a decade, the attack stopped in 1986. The offender vanished, leaving investigators with a massive mystery and no remaining trail to follow. For decades, the only lead was a piece of physical evidence preserved from the crime scenes: the killer's DNA. Forensic science has a significant limitation. A DNA profile is useless if there is nothing to compare it against. When investigators searched the National Criminal Database, they found nothing. The system only contains profiles of individuals previously convicted of crimes. As the years passed, the victims aged and the original detectives retired. The man responsible remained hidden, leaving no record in any criminal system. Police were holding a genetic profile that they could not use. Without a name already in the system, the investigation had hit a wall that conventional police work could not move. Long after the crime stopped, an unrelated industry exploded. Millions of people began mailing saliva samples to commercial testing companies to discover their family heritage. Many of these users uploaded their results to a website called GED Match, an open-source platform designed to help people find and connect with distant relatives. It was here that investigators realized they didn't need the killer himself to have taken a DNA test to find him. By uploading the crime scene DNA to this public database, investigators bypassed the criminal system. They weren't looking for the suspect. They were looking for his third or fourth cousins. Shifting the search to a family network broke a stalemate that had lasted 30 years. Genetic genealogist Barbara Ray Venter joined the investigation to lead an experiment in cross-referencing these new DNA matches. The work was analog and exhaustive. The team spent months connecting genetic hits with public census records, marriage licenses, and obituaries. This process allowed them to construct massive family trees, tracing common ancestors back through multiple generations to see where the branches intersected. This historical research served as the link between a digital DNA hit and a physical location, creating a map that began to close in on a suspect. Thousands of names were methodically eliminated until every branch of the family tree converged on a single line. That line led to Joseph James DeAngelo. He was a 72-year-old former police officer whose age and background matched the profile of the killer. Detectives watched DeAngelo until he discarded an item containing his DNA. They collected the sample and performed a standard comparison against the evidence from the original crime scenes. The resulting match was definitive. A man who left no fingerprints and no witnesses was ultimately identified through his own family history. In 2018, neighbors watched as the man they knew as an ordinary retiree was arrested in his driveway. During his sentencing in 2020, survivors finally confronted him. They described lives that had been overshadowed by fear for 4 decades, finally having the chance to address the man who had haunted them. While the conviction could not erase the past, it answered the question that had remained unsolved for a generation. The Golden State Killer investigation established the framework for the field of investigative genetic genealogy. This technique has since been used to reopen and solve hundreds of cold cases across the country that were once thought to be impossible. But it also raises questions about how much genetic privacy society will trade for the ability to solve these crimes. The Golden State Killer avoided capture for 40 years because he understood investigations and forensics. He was caught because millions of ordinary people, curious about their heritage, built a network that led investigators directly to his door.